Good evening, savages. Welcome to the podcast. This is Sassy, and I'm Savage, and this is the Sassy and Savage podcast. I'd like to introduce you to the first time. Say hi. Hello, my co-host.
Hello.
Woman, stop being so stiff and get your ass awake.
Hey. I'm awake now. Okay, my eyes won't open.
Yeah, you were just in church anyway. Like, you should have had the presence of the Lord in your soul and been like awake.
I always do.
About presence of the Lord waking your spirit up in the morning.
How else do I wake up?
Good dick? I don't know. So, today on the podcast, we're here to talk about a few things that are essential to relationships. I call it the before you leave the house rule. Like, if you a man, I believe that if you got anything in the house that needs to be doing, get it done. So your wife don't put that long ass checklist that she's eventually gonna fucking argue about 800 times down the road that you don't give a fuck about. Get that out the way. If you haven't had sex or you're going on a long road trip, beat it down before you leave, so no other man can come inside your house and do some shit that you don't do. If you got your kids, hang the fuck out with them before you leave. Like, this is just a protocol for men. Like, before you leave, as a man, these are the things you should always make sure you do. Kiss your wife, say you love you to your people, walk out the house good. But my rule for, like, I don't necessarily my rule, but like my life statement for women is like, I believe that y'all should take care of the same thing. Like, your man is essentially either, if he's the breadwinner or if he's the guy taking care of the shit at the house, yo, that nigga should be fucked, slept, and make sure he got something in his stomach every time before he leaves the house. Because that's how you letting some other chick get in. What you think?
I think that if you have that expectation of being taken care of before you leave, take care of the things that we always complain about first. And I mean soft things. It's not going to be like, oh, you didn't take the trash out or whatever. That's easy. Well, for me, it's easy. I live in a building.
Yo, that's the best thing on the planet, the building elevator drop.
Look, I was raised like this. Doesn't mean that it's my thing, but my mom would say to me, and for whoever knows my mom.
Love your mom.
She's just like, men are supposed to take out the garbage. Don't take out your hand and take out the garbage. They're leaving out the door, let them take out the garbage, right? For me, I'll take it out if it gets to that point where I'm annoyed and it's not taken out.
Yeah.
It does annoy me because, why let it fill up and whatever? It's just unnecessary things.
That's a Sassy thing, though. We both got that.
It's like, why?
We get personally annoyed from small little things because we take care of it right now. Yeah,
it's so irritating.
That comes from the fact that we like to do things now. I've realized that we don't like to wait. Like, it's a Sagittarius complaint is you wake up in the morning and you see shit from the night before.
Yeah, it's irritating.
You can't stand that shit.
It's irritating. Especially now because I have these big ass black garbage bags. I don't have the little ones, you know what I mean? So when it's overfilled, I'm like, how is this supposed to fit down the chute? And then why do I gotta do it? I'm 5'5". Like, I gotta take this 6-foot bag and be like.
All I'm saying is pause. Now you know how niggas feel when they fucking small girls.
What the fuck? What the What? Wait, what?
Just catch the visual. You'll catch up.
Oh my god.
Just think Shaq and hoops.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, now I gotta pee. Okay. But, yeah, okay. So that's what you want to do before you leave the house. So what I feel like to a female, how you could keep her from the me, I'm not really that type of person. I'll just stay quiet. I'll be mad that like somebody didn't do something.
You cerebral as shit though. You got a man's mentality on certain shit. Like, you go hold your tongue and then later on you gonna drop kick a nigga when he really do something stupid.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be for 18 hours. It's gonna be
I don't like that.
For half an hour, nigga, I'm gonna tear your ass out and then I'm not gonna talk to you again.
Or you know what? Sometimes I've done it before. I put notes everywhere.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You one of them?
And no. I put it because if somebody comes in the house, they're gonna see the notes anywhere.
That's what I'm
everywhere.
saying.
And
You
then
one of them
know
passive
what?
aggressive motherfuckers who
And
leave the
then
notes
you know
everywhere.
what? Then men are just gonna be like, they're gonna be like, why you gotta put up these notes? Then they're gonna feel embarrassed, and they gotta do it. Put it on the door, right where the garbage is. Please take out garbage before you leave.
Passive aggressive.
Just certain things, like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm the man, I make the money, and what, but I'm the woman and I make the home. I cook your meal. You buy it, I cook it. You know what I mean? From what I cook, I gotta put into the garbage. If you're leaving out the fucking door, put it in the garbage, down the garbage chute, or where if you live in a house, in the bin.
No, bro, I'm not even arguing with you. You make 100% sense on that one. I'm
And
100%
then,
with you.
if I gotta make you happy before you leave the house, make sure you make me feel happy before you leave the house. Because if you're coming before me, or if you feel like everything's good for you, but it's not good for me, and you're gonna leave the house,
Ladies and gentlemen,
do your job.
this is a point in the conversation where most men need to remember, before, I repeat, gentlemen, before you have your fun, make sure you put it down and make sure they score the touchdown first. Because nothing is worse than when you leave the house happy and you leave an angry woman. Just
Good
piece of
sex ain't
tidbit.
good sex one way.
I guess I can see that, facts. Because imagine, like, literally throwing it down for an hour, throwing you back out, then all of a sudden she says, I'm done.
Okay, but what if you're not throwing it down for an hour? You're just like, oh, I gotta go out, so let me just do this quick thing. This 5-minute thing, this 2-minute thing.
Yo, do you see her
All
shoulders
right.
moving right now? I
Yeah,
love that.
like, I just gotta do this one little quick minute thing. Da, 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 da. Okay, so while you're in the bathroom or while you're out, I gotta finish myself off. To porn. To somebody else's dick. Get what I'm saying?
To porn.
Not cute.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'll say though, it depends on timing. Because here's the thing. Y'all will admit, and here's the thing. Girls take longer to prime the blood clot engine. Men, it's the right thought and a couple of good strokes. Like, I'm sorry. If your wife is the right dirty woman for you, and I mean the right dirty woman for you, she knows the cheat code, fam. It do not take her more than 2 up, down, left, right, this little bit of tongue here, a little bit of stroke there, and it's done. Like, a nigga's over. Your shit is a little bit more of a motherfucking deviated manual. A nigga's gotta know the right temperature, the oil. He's gotta make sure the shit is serviced right. Shit, we gotta prime the engine before we start.
Let me interrupt right here. Okay? Let me interrupt this. That is not a fact. And I promise you, any woman who's gonna watch this, is this a test or is this a video?
Either way.
Whatever it is. Look, I know if you're a female and you're watching this, you want to slap me in the face. You know, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. Because you know what? No, it doesn't. What it takes is for you to know your woman's body. Okay? It's not about, well, you know, it takes a little bit, whatever. No, you need to learn your woman's body. A man, you could just suck his dick and he can come. It might take him a little bit longer. It might take him a little bit less. But for us, it's, and you know what? I heard a man say this. Females are more emotional. They're more, it takes more emotion to whatever. You know how many times I didn't have emotion? I just want to get my nut too. But I don't care. Look.
I don't think emotion got nothing to do with nothing.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it does.
Know my body. Know what gets me right. If I say I don't like something, take that, think about that, and then go from there. Don't do it again.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I'm not even saying in the sense of like knowing the protocol. What I'm saying is girls in general, like compared to a guy and a girl. Like I said, maybe the situation for you is completely different. I'm just taking from my personal experience.
It's not just for me. I'm talking about like
yeah, no, I'm
like
not trying
females.
to make it. I'm not trying to make it broad because making it broad about females is the stupidest goddamn thing you can do.
Well, we all have that complaint that men just don't know our bodies. And
Because
we take too long to.
No, it's not that. As a whole, men don't get a chance. Like, right, maybe it's because I don't necessarily have this problem as experience because I've been raised by women. I learned to listen a certain amount of times. I understand certain things about you. But what I'm saying is the complaint that I see that men run into is that a lot of girls more times didn't know their body themselves. They get into a relationship and then they're just learning and exploring, and then the guy is left there hanging tits because she doesn't even know what's going on. And I'm saying that's early part in the relationship. Now I'm saying if you're stupid and you've been in a relationship for 2-3 years and you with the same woman, bro, and you don't know the map, you dumb. You on a lost trip. You ain't never gonna find the treasure box, bro, because you don't have the map.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
I agree.
But at the beginning, when you in that original stage, that first year, bro, that's an exploratory market. We both looking at that map, wondering where the fuck that X is. Like, we
Right.
both looking at it going like, okay, do I use this hand? Do I do this shit? Does this shit work right here? Like, we all trying some
But
shit.
I mean, okay, say if you were with a woman, she hasn't discovered her sexuality, like what gets her going yet, right? And she doesn't know yours. How would you take that step to make sure that you know what makes her feel good and to stick with that and to make sure it changes up?
Oh, we just on some exploratory mission shit. We on a finding Nemo, finding the G spot, finding a spot kind of night. Like, fuck, we can do the exploratory thing. That's the shit. We play Dora the Explorer half the night. Mi amo left. Like, we can do whatever the fuck needs to be done. It's just a matter of how much. Here's what I'll give you a little bit of tidbit about men. We will do whatever the fuck is necessary to get the job done if you the right woman. Most men are in relationships with the wrong woman and don't want to be there. They just want to nut and get out too. And that's half the problem.
Well, shit, why don't you just be single and nut everywhere else?
Because that's the problem. You are being single and nutting everywhere, and then you can't get to meet a right woman because the fact that the mystique about you is you just single and nutting in everybody. You got to be able to play. Like, here's the thing about men. Men only learn when we play the field. We only learn who we are. We only learn who we don't, what we don't like. We only learn from actually playing the field and understanding what we do, the do's and don'ts of our own mind. It takes a while before, because we're highly immature. We don't give the steps. Like, we're not given a tutorial manual and says that, oh, you do this, this, and this, life is going to work out all the way. So it takes us a lot longer to get to that step than women do. But what I say, though, is when we do get to that step, we move. We don't pause after that. Once a man finds what he likes, he locks into that and keeps that. The problem is that most men out here not knowing what the fuck we like or what we need.
Okay, so do you agree that a man will discover what a woman likes, right? And he'll stick to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So now, if I were to do that to my dude and I know what he likes, so I'll stick to that. To me, okay, as Andrew said, you know, I'm not that typical female. I got a little bit of a man's mentality and whatever. But the thing is, those mixing them two together is like, I know that what you like all the time isn't gonna be what you're gonna like a month down the road.
No,
it has to be switched up.
That is true.
Right? But if you're not switching it up for me, I'm gonna feel like it's a routine. And that routine is going to keep going because if I keep doing certain things and you like it, you're going to keep taking that thing and you're not going to give back to me.
No, you're 100% right. No, you're 100% right. Here's the thing about guys. We see things and then we want to try it. So 90% of the dirty ass shit your man has ever tried or the shit that he came up with, he visually saw it or he had a conversation about it and he thought it was a great idea.
Or
we're
porn.
not, porn or what? No, that's where 90% of the good ideas come from. Porn and shit. Like, I'm sorry, like, cowgirl was not invented by a dude. You see what I'm saying?
What are you talking about? I think so.
No, I don't think it was invented by a dude.
No, sorry, I'm talking about reverse cowgirl.
That was invented by a nigga. He saw cowgirl.
He wanted POV.
No, that's what I'm saying. He saw cowgirl and then thought to himself, shit, nigga, that would look the shit turned around.
Right? And then to us, it's like the way that your dick is positioned, it'll feel good or not feel good at all. So it's like, we're trying to please you.
Hook left or hook right?
Yeah, it's like, if you're this way, it's like, and I'm doing reverse cowgirl, I feel like I'm gonna want to shit. And if you're this way, okay, you're hitting the rigid area, I might want to squirt. And if you're this way, I'm in pain. So it's like we don't win.
So what are you saying? Good? No good? Hatayukin!
That expression fucks you up!
Come on, you know I'm always in my bag.
That was the shit. Oh my god, that was so funny.
Like, that's another t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna put one front, back, and a Hatayukin.
Oh shit. Yeah, that was funny. Oh my god.
No, because like here's the real reason why I say that in general is because like I've said this to you before and you all must agree with me. That most men when it comes to sex, if you don't like the shit that a man was doing with you, 90% of the time, blame the chick that was before you. Because all his experience comes down. Like, all men learn our entire experience framework from women. We learn how to wipe our ass from our mothers. We learn our experiences that we want in general is the experience we witnessed our mother having with our father. That's why if you look at a lot of men, the people who don't want relationships usually come from broken homes. The guys who don't want a relationship with a woman for a long term, the guys who don't want a relationship because they don't come from seeing that every single day. They actually visualized a broken house as being what's normal. So for them,
it has to be instilled in you.
Exactly. So what I'm saying to you is that 90% of men, because we're tutorial based, like what I mean by this is we see, we learn, we do. So if you're at home and you see a nigga doing the same shit over and over and over again, bitch, throw in a porno and say nigga that. Trust me, tomorrow morning he's gonna be doing that.
But that doesn't always feel like
No. I'm saying y'all need to experiment with some new shit. Half the problem, and I'm not saying it's true for you, but what I've noticed in relationships are people will get comfortable, do the same shit over and then get mad at the other person that they're not willing to put the same level of fucking experimentation or the same level of interest that they put in, not seeming to realize that that person's just a little bit more boring than them. They don't have that experimental side. They don't have that side of the mind that says, yo, I want to go try some new shit. They're so happy with learning the one or two moves that they learn and those one or two moves work. That they're happy. Yo, bro, I'm getting in there. I'm scoring. I'm in there hitting the touchdown. Them niggas is happy to score. That's half the problem.
I mean, and also, like, you know, if porn is a curse, it's a curse.
Yo,
when you see that shit and you're just like, oh, that shit looks good.
I know,
right? You're just like, oh, I want that shit to happen to me. Or, I mean, even if you're a man or a woman and you've had something in your past, and now you've been with somebody where it's not like your past, it's like you kind of got to work around that. And if it's not working out, and then you just watch porn, you're just like, I wish it was like that. But you know what? Porn is actually not that easy.
But the thing is, porn's not reality. One thing you will learn, like, I've met a couple of producer buddies of mine who've produced one or two, blue movies in their day, and they will tell you.
But you're such a Jamaican about blue movie.
Yeah, I'm right. Blue movie, I have blood clot, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm just saying, the way they set it up is just like, a guy will tell you, that's why they have different production stuff. Like, that's why they have fluffers. That's why they have so many people working on a porn to actually make it look good. Like, here's the thing, a guy will nut 20 times in a scene and you won't notice.
Oh,
why?
yeah.
Because literally, they'll have another, no, it's not even just a cut. They'll literally have a girl. Like, he will be stroking you and hitting you with the limp sausage, and then the second they want to zoom in, they bring in the fluffer chick to bring it back up.
Wait, I got a question, actually. Sorry, it's kind of a new topic.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Why is it that... Okay, I'm going to share something very personal with you guys.
Okay.
Obviously, women, men watch porn, whatever. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
For some reason, I actually never share this with anybody. For some reason, I'd rather watch white porn than black porn. Hold on, wait! No. Wait. Let me explain. Oh my god, I really gotta pee though. Hold on. Wait, hold on.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, but let me explain why. I just really gotta go back.
Pause. No. Go. Pause, because this one's gonna be good. Oh, this is gonna be good. Fuck.
Alright, so what I meant by that, not what I meant, I meant what I meant, I meant what I said. The reason why I prefer white porn is not what is going to come to your mind right away. Reason being is because when interracial porn, obviously I don't have a problem with no porn, but interracial porn, especially if it's a black female, having sex with a white male, you might think there's race behind that. Obviously not. I love all races. Nothing goes like that. But only because when a black female is on top of a white male and they're doing their thing, I cannot see the wetness.
Interesting.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I actually have to concur with that because if you watch like BBC on white girls be making a mess from like stroke 10.
Yeah,
So like it may not be the first couple, but like stroke 10.
But it's like not as shiny. You know what I mean? Like you can't really see. You can see if they squirt.
Yeah, no, I see your point. I see your point. No, I see your point.
And then when it's black porn, God bless them because you can see everything. You can see the wetness, you can see the cream, you can see all that. But the only thing with black porn is, for me, is that they fuck how we think they're gonna fuck.
Mm-hmm. Animalistic.
Like it's exactly.
No, I see. Exactly. I already look at. I know exactly what you're saying.
But like, the only thing about that is that I like that because I can see when she's getting wet, even the tiniest bit, because they're darker skin and I can see that. Right? It's just like he said, a little animalistic. They like doing it from the back a lot and like doing a lot of whatever. With white, it's like they do different positions. A lot of blacks just do kind of two position. Not black, sorry, just like not very well. You know what I mean? A lot of black people do the, but with white people they do a lot of different positions. But it's like I can't see if you're wet or not. You look dry as fuck.
No, then you know exactly. I know exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I know exactly. I mean, what I've noticed in a lot of these things is that here's the thing. Porn is as much as people don't seem to realize, like it's incredibly racially divided community. And what I mean by this is, like, okay, you got your big houses, like the Vivids and all of this, the shit. Like, I hate to say it, but I call those the white companies. They're bigger, they have the national standing, they can put all the other stuff, the production value is high, but the shit's boring as fuck. Then you have the black guys, like the Brazzers, the like, you know what I mean, the lower and more the reality, like the more reality-based one. They're more kind of like hip-hop oriented and more space. The production value is a little lower, camera value is high, but the overall fun value of the whole entire thing is better.
Right.
The third thing you're gonna have is like this combination kind of like hybrid of like at-home guys. Like they make really good, like they have shitty concepts, but they fuck really well. So it's like, you see what I'm saying? Like, what I've noticed in porn and the racial divide that happens is that I've just noticed like the production houses on the like they use for black porns, even though it's the same group of stars, the same group of people, and it could be the same group of fucking camera guys or whatever it is. But I always notice that it's like they light them darker. They don't put the higher style of production. Like the same, you could be shooting the same porn in the exact same building. You could see it sometimes. Like it's literally, you'll see one scene, it's like that tree's just moved just over there. It's like the same exact place they shot that motherfucker in, they just moved the tree over there. But all of a sudden the black one's like really darkly lit. It's like, I just noticed that what I've noticed racially wise, like they've made the production value of like the black porn darker, more harder, more like heavy. It's like it sets a mood in a way for you to be perceived as an animal. Like, because, like, the way they fuck, like, and then the ways that I noticed, like, these things is, like, in porns with interracials, like, the ones that I've noticed, it's, like, you notice this, like, kind of sub-racism shit where you see, like, the white girls always wanted to fuck a black nigger, and they have to say it to make it, like, bro, we don't need to hear that shit. Like, you can tell some white pussy wanted some white dick early. Yeah, like it's like you don't need to put that in the movie. Like we know white women and black men have been fucking for years, and we know black women and white women have been fucking for years. There's no need to sell that part. And then the whole part about like white black women, like I hate to say it this way, and maybe it's just a complete stereotypical bypass for me, and I'm just gonna admit this. Like it may be just that, but I don't like seeing it to a small degree because I feel like it looks a little bit like, I just don't like seeing black chicks being choked. I don't like seeing them put in that type of situation. Like it just puts the wrong connotation in my mind. Like for me, that's why I skip that. It has nothing to do with like a sexuality thing. It just brings up a bad connotation on a bad memory to me. Like it just looks like a horrible situation in my head. Like maybe it's just my personal struggle with the whole situation, and I'm not saying this is for the norm, but when I look at it that way, I don't feel like, you know what I get, like, I don't want to say, it's like, I have sisters, I got moms, it's like the same kind of like horrible feeling of like watching that happen. Like when I see a black woman in pain, like that's what I go to. I don't go to pleasure, I don't go to, oh, that bitch is getting torn up right now. It's the opposite. So that's why I don't watch it. If that makes any sense. Like, I'll just watch I'll watch a couple of people like fuck around like internet, like they just, but it has to be like almost like a POV kind of shit. I don't want to watch the whole, I came here to fuck this what. No, I'm not into that. Like, I truly am not into that Alabama fucking shit. Like, no. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. Like, they put the redneck with the black girl, or they put the hood nigga with like the sassy white girl from the suburbs. Like, oh my god, his dick is so big. Like, oh, fuck off and get the fuck off my TV screen. Like, the acting in porn is so bad, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's my favorite part though. Like, sometimes you just watch a porn to laugh your ass off. Not to nut, just to laugh your fucking ass. It's a 22-minute video, and for the first 15 minutes, you skip. Am I the only one? Can I get an amen in the church?
Sorry, I just thought about the 10-minute videos, and I thought that wasn't fair, but you get some good videos. Shout out to you.
How you know? Yeah, how let you go?
But, like, as black people, right? I mean, I'll get into that another day.
It's a whole different discussion.
Yeah. But for that, I understand what you're saying, with the whole getting choked thing. And
yeah, it just doesn't look right to me.
It doesn't. I don't know, like, I don't really like it either, but, I know it's a part of the thing, whatever. We silently like it. But where it came from, where we seen it come from, it kind of just became a trend type of thing, and especially in the porn industry. Like, when I started, let me tell you, my first time watching porn.
Oh shit, this is gonna be a good story.
Woo! Okay, so I was 11 years old.
Oh damn, you were stroking it young.
Yeah. What?
You were playing the guitar string pretty young. So no, I'm just saying you were playing the banjo pretty young.
This is a good part because I felt like I had to get into this, but maybe I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, so I was home alone a lot.
Hey. That's how it all starts. Ding 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 ding. And
what was in the household was locked up, and for some reason I was like, "What are these? Let me get in here."
Pure Blue movie I watched.
Yeah.
Jamaican Hustle.
My first porn video, when I put it's a VHS. If you're a '90s baby, you know.
Yo, shout out to the '90s strokers who had to rewind scenes. You used to get to one scene and then you had to, you got to the tape, so you had to rewind that motherfucker. Before you could, y'all 2000 kids do not know the struggle, what it was like to try and get a nut out in the 90s. God damn it.
Oh, man.
Fucking Sears magazines before goddamn Playboys were invented. What the fuck is that shit? Continue. Oh shit, the Scramble channel? Niggas remember the fucking Xbox? Yo, I think I see the titty.
Hold on. Okay, so I got into, my mom's, what did you got? Come on, you're Jamaican. What do you call it?
The Chesterfield.
Yes. Okay?
And that shit had a lock on it, because that's where the good shit was.
It was a lock. There was alcohol, blue movies. I'm sorry.
Shit, your mama had the good chest. Alcohol, blue movies. What else was in there? Was some weed in there too? Shit, mama had the stash.
Nah, she wasn't about that.
Mama had the stash.
But, she, let me put this on.
On This Is Island?
Yeah. So, I get out this movie, and it was called, I got out 2, because I was like, okay, let me just watch this before my mom came home, You
were brave as fuck? You went for 2 movies?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, my mom worked till late. Like, she wasn't coming home till, like, 4 or 5 o'clock.
So you were coming home late?
Anyways, so, I got out 2 cassettes. First one that I can grab. One was Billy Blues, and the second one was The Girl Next Door.
Let me guess. The Girl Next Door was a white girl, and Billy Blues was some dude.
Both of them.
No, I know they were both white dudes because it just sounded like. But I'm saying Billy Blues was probably like some country themed shit, and like the Girl Next Door was like some white girl from the suburbs.
Nah, I watched the Billy Blues first. Let me tell you, at first it looked disgusting. I think if I watched it to this day, I would still be disgusted. You know what it was?
So it just fucked up your whole...
It was a vampire scene.
I want it bomba club.
Okay, it was a vampire scene with a girl and a guy. They were just as vampires, but dude's fucking dick had like blue veins everywhere. I was disgusted. I was like, what is this? I was like, no.
Nigga.
So then fast forward, VHS. Fast forward. Went to the next scene. It was a normal scene. So I was like, oh, okay. Then I got this little feeling. I was like, ew, maybe I should turn this off. And I was like, hey, maybe I should.
I got a feeling. Woo!
That's exactly what it felt like. So then I was like, okay, well, wow, this is really personal.
Shout out to the good podcast.
So then I was like, okay, so this feels kind of good. I was like, okay, maybe I should turn this off. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. So then I was like, okay, let me just suppress this feeling that's going on down there. Reached down my pants and I was like, okay, no. But the more pressure I put was the more it felt good. I was like, no, this is not right.
Waterfalls.
So I was like, what is this feeling? So I started putting more pressure. Then I was like, wait, I don't need to use my whole hand. So I used 2 fingers and I was like, oh! I was like, love that. So then I was like, okay. Well, let me just rub it side to side. And I was like, oh!
This is all I'm saying is she was over there going from R&B music, and then all of a sudden she realized that the drum and bass was the better line.
I was waiting for more music, but that was okay. So anyways, I was like, okay, side to side. And I was like, oh, how about round and round? And I was like,
No, you were Jamaican.
And then this whole...
No, you were Jamaican. You were Jamaican. It was, I want it, bamba!
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't say it, but that's
that was in
how
it.
I felt. And then I was just like, this flushing feeling came over me. I was like, I paused for like 10 seconds. I was like, my life just changed.
That's how, in that story, we now know why when something exciting happens to a woman, they pause. We just all figured it out right now.
Pause. It's a very big pause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then my life changed, and I was like, okay, something happened.
So what you were doing was having a moment of silence for your coochie?
No, I had an orgasm.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. That was the moment of
Yeah,
silence.
well,
You were
yeah.
like...
Yeah. And then, like, I just, like, did it every day from then on, and then...
She became an addict! The first thing, this is how you know that sex is compared to drugs. Because it's true. You get the first stroke and you get that first good taste, and then you hooked on that shit for the rest of your life. She over there playing the guitar strings heavy every morning.
Oh my.
Ding, 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 ding.
Couldn't wait till my mom went to work.
What?
I'm telling you. And then, like, it was just, like, porn movies galore. Like, then she had this book about, what was it called? It was called something, Everything About Sex. If you could look it up, it's a book, like, in the 90s, I think. And I was looking through the pictures, and then I wasn't satisfied anymore. I gotta watch videos. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, what kind of kid am I? Like, no. I had to hide that secret, but I was having orgasms from, like...
No, you ain't that young. Most, like, niggas learn about their dick about 10, 8.
That's like yachty shit. Like, you was...
Like, we learn about our shit around 8, 9. We're like,
whoa, stroking at the age of 4.
We're looking at it, we're like, yo, hold on a second. And in fact, it's a joke thing to us, because we putting towels and shit on it, see if we can, like, stand and hold that shit up. Like, we don't even do anything serious with it at the beginning. It wasn't until seriously, like, really, really and truly, like, for me, it was like, since you shared this all personal shit, like, your first real good stroke game was like, I think I was like probably 9, 8 years old, and Pops had like some Playboys or some shit in the crib. And like, they do a good job of like, old men try to do a good job of like stashing their shit, right? Niggas, really? But no, but I'm saying, niggas, like young niggas is just the most inquisitive fucking, like, do not have a black child and think you gonna have some shit hidden in the house. Like, I don't give a fuck what it is, that nigga gonna find it. Like, there is no...
any kid for that matter.
Yeah, but black children especially, we the most inquisitive minds on the planet. Like, we see a small amount of light in something and think to ourselves, that don't belong there, and we'll spend the next 20 years trying to find out what the fuck behind it. So, like, I found Pops' stash, obviously. And, like, it was this weird thing, because, like, that's probably the first time I had ever seen a white woman naked. Because it was a Playboy, right? Because I'd seen black chicks, and I'd seen black chicks naked, like, half my life. Like, we in Jamaica. Naked bodies is everywhere, bro. Come to Carnival. We show you some shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing. But, like, that's the first time. I think that's probably where my overall understanding of my liking of white women started, probably. Right. Is because of the fact, like, the first time I'd actually seen one naked was probably in a book, like, early. It
was like...
That first integrated thought process to myself. Because I've seen, like, black women were sexual to me. But at that time, they were like my sisters, my family. They were just a norm.
Yeah.
It wasn't
No, I get that.
it wasn't an exploratory thing because like the first girl I see. The funny thing is, the first thing I seen was like I don't remember the article, but it was like I just remember the look of it. Like it was this redhead chick with like huge tits and like a great like she had a great rack, but like you know back in the day Playboys it was all about the muff, right? It was all about the buff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
they had like
yeah,
she had a great fucking like
Muff
beard.
or buff?
I don't know what the fuck it was called back then. We just
Muff is a hair.
we just
buff
call it-
is a
no. She had a fade.
What's it
Yeah,
called?
she had that fade down. She had that good line, like you know what I mean.
Right.
Like you know back in the day how they used to have that shit like trimmed straight and it had like a good like fade line right at the tip. Like bitches was actually real. Yeah, bitches was real serious about they fucking coochie art back then. Like
a fade.
no, it looked like a fade. Like it looked like she trimmed that shit up. Like because you know when like you know the perfect example. It looked like this side right about fucking here, my nigga. Like it didn't look like this and it didn't look like that. It looked like about here. You know what I mean? Like the shit was evened out. So, like I was saying, the first time I'd seen that shit, and guess what? You sit there, you look at it, and you're like, shit standing up like the fucking goddamn, like, everything poking up. Like, the goddamn sheet is now sitting on your shit. So you think to yourself, and then the worst part about it is the weight started hitting the sheet and shit like that, and that shit start moving on the tip of your dick. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? Nigga, where the fuck is this from? Like, I have never felt this shit. Whoa, what the fuck is this shit happening right now? So like, you know, after a couple of good straight, and the worst thing about young men is that we ain't got no control game. So it's like, you could be in the middle of a stroke, you can't stop stroking. You know how hard that shit is to half stroke the middle of your shit? You know how many times like that's why young niggas get caught. That's all I'm saying. We can't do a half stroke. Like it's a continuum motion. So you get it out the way. And like you said, after that, you've been doing it ever since. I don't think there's a man alive that like jerked off the first time and then thought to himself, nah, I'm not gonna do that again.
Well, no. Well, I don't think there's a woman alive
I don't think
that
there's a human being
gave
on the planet.
themselves an orgasm. Ugh. First of all, a lot of women don't know how to give themselves an orgasm.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you, because that goes
yeah.
that goes right to my first goddamn point that some of y'all are expecting us to actually bring you to orgasm or know how to get you there, and you don't know how to get yourselves there. That is a problem in my opinion. Like, first woman, please explore yourself.
Well,
before you get
I
into a
think
relationship.
that it's a problem that we know how to get ourselves there, and they don't know how to get us there.
No. I'm not saying that we should. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that we should know. I'm saying that if you don't have an there are women out there
Yeah, well, if you
who
can't,
don't understand their own bodies. They don't know how to get themselves there, but they expect the man they would to put in all that work.
hey, look, if I was a man and a girl didn't know how to get her body to that
You
point,
out in that bitch.
no, I would be happy, because you know what? Anything I'm giving you, you'll think that's the best thing on earth.
You say that's a gift.
That is it. That is it. If
But-
you know how to get your body off as a female, that's a danger to a man, because you know how to get it going for yourself, and they don't know how to do that shit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that it's a danger only if you're using it as a weapon. And what I mean by this is, if you're in a situation where you're both experimenting, like I said, you get to know. Like, as a man, the best secret kept is the fact that most of us, at the end of the day, it feels good doing all that shit. The end result, like, here's the thing. All that extra pumping and fucking working and all that extra sweat and all that, that's all for you. I'm gonna give you a little secret here. All of that extra whole lot of 1 hour trying to do some extra shit, you don't think it. No, I'm being honest. You don't. I'm not bullshitting with you right now. You may not think it is because we're over there in the bravado and all. Oh, I'm gonna fuck the hell out the pussy and do all that shit. That's bravado. Really and truly, all of that extra energy we're trying to put in there is for you. The last 20 seconds of fun is what's for us. That's why a nigga turns retarded, because literally all my overall juices, all my liberty, all of everything that is coming out of me right now, that's the best part of the sex for us. It's not that whole it's great. I'm not saying it's not a good part of it, but I'm saying that's mainly for you. That's and I don't know another man who's not gonna back me up on this. We really do that shit mainly to please y'all.
I agree with some of that, but there's some men out there that just fuck to please themselves and think that it's pleasing you. I mean, I'm talking to women. They think that it's pleasing you, but really it's not. And the whole thing is for them.
But you already
thing
know.
is
But you already know that guy is a million times.
And that
immature.
reverts back to if you know how to play with yourself, you know how to give yourself an orgasm, and these niggas don't. They think it's for you, but you just play along.
Yeah, but you also got to remember though too. There are a lot of girls. There's some. I'm not saying a lot, but there are a percentage of women that don't know how to do their own shit.
Oh, of course.
There's niggas who are, there's niggas out there hitting you with a gummy worm just for the sake of it.
No, that.
Like he ain't even all the way hard. He's just hitting you with the gummy worm just to get out.
It's real.
Like you know how many times niggas have hit bitches with a soft dick and gone, they spit on a bitch's back and just leave?
No, that's real though. That's real.
Like what the fuck you mean? They give you I nutted fast. No, coochie smelled bad. I want it out, bitch. Need an excuse.
Why would you even finish?
No, because you just don't want to be in a playing situation. You see, the thing in danger, the one thing you can't do is bruise a woman's ego before sex, because she will then spread a rumor that is not true about you for the rest of 100 years. So the smartest thing you do to get the fuck out of that situation is make her feel like a piece. Oh, I nutted, quit and get the fuck out.
When a nigga come too fast, he will spread rumors about you that your pussy stank, so he had to finish it off quickly. But if your pussy really stank, how could he finish that off?
No, that's what I'm saying. We just fake
How?
it. There's some niggas that will fake it. There's some niggas that will just go and just keep it moving. Oh, I nutted and keep it moving. Yeah,
y'all ain't got
y'all don't know it. So
y'all got no fucking
a lot of them don't
for your
know.
penises.
Bruh, I will tell you the honest truth. When you young, you don't know you need to respect the fucking penis that you got. That shit is a goddamn... That is your sword at that point. You feel like you should hit it on everything. You feel like you should stab everything. You should you're sword fighting with every goddamn pussy that walks past you.
Look,
but
this is gonna be my ending conversation about this. Men, if you don't know how to please your woman, you better find a way. Because stabbing and getting it done before you want to go out and doing all this is reverting back to the whole beginning of the conversation. Yeah, she can suck your dick before you go out. Yeah, she can fuck you before you go out. Yeah, she can make you dinner before you go out. And then guess what? When you're gone, she's gonna play with herself and wish she had somebody else.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying to you. That's what I said to you at the beginning. Men have a checklist too. I didn't know your woman. Yeah. Know her body. Know your man and know his body. Speaking of women. But you know what? You can't give if you ain't getting back. Oh shoot. Speaking of women, I gotta go. Mine's calling. Hold on. Hey babe. Hey, what's going on? Oh shit! It should have started this morning. I thought it was 9 o'clock. Ah, okay. Well, I only ate a sandwich, so I guess I have to not eat anymore after the sandwich. Okay, so then I'll start. Alright, so... Dope. Yo, that's gonna suck. So I'm gonna die.
Rest in peace, Kobe. Oh, this is so sad.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I can tell. Alright, I will see you when I get home. Still shooting. Yeah, no, I'll get it when I'm leaving here. Okay. Okay, alright, bye. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had to get a pause.
You sure that ended? I'll get in trouble.
I'm getting into trouble. I get into trouble as a daily routine. You know that.
He just wakes up.
Like I just wake up and shit. You know that.
Me too. Fuck.
That's a Sassy thing, though. That's a Sassy thing. Like, that's a Sassy
Nobody likes us. But we're the best.
We just the wild ones. That's really what it comes down to.
We just can't come on.
I think life would just be boring without us. That's really what it is.
Really, I think we just, if you really read into the signs, it's like all of them are either sensitive or they're fucking two-faced. Or family oriented, but they're still money pinchers. Yeah. But Sagittarius are so free.
We just wild about it.
And nobody wants to accept them.
Yeah, because they are, no, the thing is, they're all pigeonholed by something. Sagittarius is the only thing we're pigeonholed by is our inability to wait.
Not only that, but fuck, we don't like being bored either.
No, what I'm saying, but that comes down to the inability to wait. That's what I'm saying. Like, once we get to something, or we've already made up our mind that we want to go do something, the worst thing on the planet is telling the Sagittarius, you gotta chill. That nigga ain't gonna do that.
Bruh. And if they do chill, it's not gonna last long.
No, it's not.
Not
Like, I mean,
at all.
it's like, all right, here's the thing I realized a long time ago. And this is the reason why I say the things I say. I've watched too many relationships fail. And what I mean by fail is most people forget the common ground that brought them into a relationship first. The people's happiness, your both individual happiness is the key to your relationship.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if your man, every man by the time he is the age of like 30 something, he only needs a couple things in his life to make it run smooth. And what I mean by this is, if you wake up in the morning and every day your wife is taking care of you by food, love, sex, the whole thing, you're a fucking dumbass to fuck that up and not give her what she needs. You're now failing. What I mean by this is, as a man, your entire single job is to be a provider, a protector, and an understander.
Word.
You're not to do anything else in your entire life. Like, being a millionaire, doing all of that shit is secondary. Like, literally. It does not matter, because the end of your life, the only thing people are going to remember is the people you left behind. Like, we just lost Kobe Bryant today. What's going to be what keeps his legacy alive? It's not going to be his basketball. It's going to be his daughters who carry his name, his wife, and all of those people who have the memory of him being one of the greatest basketball players alive. It's not the fucking money he made. It's not even the championships that he occurred. It's literally his living memory. That's what men leave behind.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying to you. It's like, if a woman does that job, now we're the ones failing. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't do those, like, if we don't get those things, it's already up. Like, we're giving the, because we're such singularity creatures and we're so immature in a way, we don't know how to look past the step that you didn't do. So you see what I'm saying? The relationship can't grow any higher because now we're only focusing on the dumb shit that was, we can't even involve ourselves. Because now we're so singly focused on some dumb shit rather than what can make our relationship. That's why I say, just feed him, fuck him, suck him, and leave him alone. Because then, after that, it is his fault if you don't do the right steps.
Well, I mean, some of them you can't just feed them, suck them, and leave them alone because they're looking for more than that.
No, I don't think so. I think they're in the wrong relationship at that point. I fundamentally believe that if you are getting those things in your life and you are literally out there, and I'm saying this in the sense that there's twofold to this. Like, a lot of girls come into relationships looking one way. Then by the time you're 65 or not even that, by the time you're 45, you look completely different. The man in your life may have gained a few pounds or whatever else, and he's looking different, but the change between the two is dramatic only in one way. A man can go to the gym tomorrow morning and get himself kind of back in shape. But when a woman tries to do it, it's like once she starts slipping, it's fundamentally harder for her to get herself back on track. And that is a dooming factor in a relationship that women never think about. They always think to themselves, we should be completely prioritarily happy with you all the through stages through your life, not to realize that we fell in love with you at a stage. We've gone through this with you, and then we only have memories of your old stage. You didn't try hard enough to maintain that stage, and we saw it. We saw you slipping the whole time. We watched you continuously going down.
You know
and
what? I
not
tried
trying.
for a certain amount of that time.
No. I'm not saying that it's a complete truth. I'm not saying that it's wholeheartedly. But it's like it's both sides. Like I'm saying it works on the man's side too. Like, if you're in a relationship with a man and that nigga came in with a six-pack and he was doing everything else, by the time he's 55 or 45 and now this guy's got a giant tub belly, guess what? You're gonna think that 16 to 19-year-old dude walking on the street's hot now. You're not even gonna waste your time.
Well, to me, I'm gonna think it's hot, but you know what? To me, what's good is that, I knew you when you had that, and we developed to this point, and whatever. You got that fucking belly because I gave it to you.
Yeah. No, that works.
I was doing shit.
You were making
I
him
was
happy.
taking care of home.
No, you were making him happy. I see that side as well. But what I'm saying is the problem in the backdrop to this is men are, like I said to you, I'm just talking about the balances that keeps us men.
Right.
We're mature in that way. The reason why men like cars is because, a lot of the reason why men like cars is because they're always evolving. You can have the same model of car and then 20 years later make it look like something completely different because parts are always added. You're
Right.
always putting something else. You can't do that with your wife.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
You can't.
You see, so you understand what I'm saying? The evolvement.
No,
That's why
I get
the
it,
attention.
yeah.
That's why the attention switches. It's because, like, here's the thing. I've noticed though, because of the new generation of women and the new generation of wife, they're keeping the attention of their men 10 times longer now because they're the bad. Like, they're in their 40s, and they like. I know a lot of black chicks like who are 45, 50 years, like get to that point, and they better than the girls who are 20. Because they spent more time. They spent more. They kept their husband. They kept everybody. They kept everything right. So I dare their husband to leave. Why? Because guess what? All them niggas on the block are just waiting for you to fuck up now. Because you got the baddest woman on the block.
But you know what? I'm gonna keep this what I had in my mind for the next podcast. But I'm going to bring it to your attention though. For men that feel like their wife or their woman should be doing more than what they're doing in the household, and that they're not doing enough, and that you silently, that means you don't know, but you're silently putting your woman down, and you don't really know it.
That's a bit.
You're gonna go to that next person. You're gonna be like, oh fuck that. Yeah, she cooked, she cleaned, she did all that, blah blah blah. But you know what? She wasn't doing certain things, and wasn't doing this and that and that. But you know what? You're gonna go find yourself a millennial that can't do none of that shit.
Yep.
Right? You're gonna want her to work more. You're gonna whatever. Did you know? Let me do a real fact for you. Did you know that women? You know, in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, how the women had small waists, big hips. They were beautifully shaped.
Yeah, you did.
And then you know when that diminished? When they started doing men's work, working at factories, working outside, doing men's work. Started gaining testosterone. Started doing all that shit.
We said this in the last show.
Right. So then a man comes in and he feels like, you know what? Yeah, I'm providing for you, but you should be doing more. Well, fuck. Then you don't want a home. Then you want a fucking house.
Yep.
Live in the fucking house. What am I here for then? I might as well be doing my own fucking thing. But you know what? At the same time, like, yo, let women do what they're supposed to do. Make your house a home.
Facts.
Make you be happy. And don't fucking burden her with all that shit. But and for women, make your man be that man. Let him go work.
Ooh,
but
hold
you
on.
know what?
Pause. Say that again. No. Pause. Say that one again, please. That was some gospel shit. Please.
Make your man be the man. Let him go to work and do whatever. You know what I mean? If he's not complaining, fuck, provide all that shit. Cook, clean, fucking do all that shit for him. It's not hard. But you know what? If you're asking for too much on another side where it's like, okay, you're making my house a home, but you know what? I still feel like you're not doing enough. I feel like maybe you should go out and work and whatever. Okay, yeah, I can go out and work, but then when I go out and work and come home and fucking the house is not a home anymore.
No, I fuck with you.
The house is not a home anymore. So yo, you really gotta read into that shit.
You gotta choose your battles.
Yeah.
Like, I'll add to this. As men, we've spent 90% of our time providing. We don't take the steps back to realize what it takes. Like, no, we don't even take a step back to realize what it takes to make a home. So I completely understand what you and agree with you that sometimes we put too much stress on the things that aren't needing to be stressed on.
Right.
And I'm probably guilty of this. Like, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Like,
no, but you're a man for that.
No, I'm gonna say that. Like, I'm gonna just call a spade and say, like, I'm probably guilty of that very same thing. Because, like, when I call, like, here's the biggest problem that I guess most guys have. We work, or we wake up in the morning, we grind all day, we get back to the house. Then it's a second grind.
Yes,
it's a second complete grind. Like, your relationship, your kid, you're spending time, you're doing all the extra shit is a grind. Because really, all we want to do when we walk in the house is go smoke a spliff and go to sleep. We don't want to talk to nobody. We don't, like, at real nauseum, we don't really want, like, if your job is hard, like, especially what mine is, like, you don't want to deal with nobody. For that first 2 hours, you just don't want to even talk to anybody. Because it's hard to, like, you're irritated from the day. So it's like, I don't want to bring that home and, like, you know what I mean? And then I walk in the house, you come, oh, baby, how's your day? Like, I don't want to just tell you, like, I don't want to come offload you all this shit.
That's all me. I don't be like, oh, how's your day? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm at the stove. You walk in, hey, Go do your fucking thing. Go do your thing.
That's
Because
what I'm saying.
I'm not about to be like, are you okay? Let me rub your knees. Let me rub your feet. No.
See,
Go do what you have to do. Let me do what I'm doing.
See, that piece is, like I said, that's necessary. But the thing is, to evolve into the man I got to is me dealing with all the bullshit I've had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many bad relationships that I learned that this is what I need.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I didn't get to this point because it was just willy-nilly and you know what I mean? I met this person and then we got to this stage.
Yeah.
It's because I went through so many bad practices that I realized what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 90% of all men.
Yeah.
We don't get a chance to pull up the manual and say, okay, 1 + 1 = 2, and we're gonna know exactly. Like, you can't look at a girl and then go, that ain't gonna work. Because 90% of the time, it's all pheromones and endorphins that are kicking in. That bitch look bad, so you're thinking to yourself, yo, I can wife that. You know what I mean? And then you realize that there's certain parts of her personality that don't jive with yours, and that's what takes the long amount of time. So that's what you'll say to her, oh, don't do this, or don't understand, or the pressure doesn't come in. It's because we see that those things are coming, and then sometimes we're trying to apply pressure on it to hopefully change it for the future. But that men don't have a gauge on how to deal with it, because I've said this to her. Most girls, like not most, but a lot of women are emotional, and we're not. So for me to explain myself to you in a non-emotional way sounds like I'm being a dick.
Yeah.
But if I'm just trying to get out my feelings, I don't have any other way of explaining it to you. I don't have an emotional filter in my head to go, that's not the right word.
Yeah.
It's like, if I don't have an ability to speak it to you, that's why we keep quiet about it, because we don't have an ability to express it.
And then we should be there for that.
We don't have an ability to express
should
that.
be there for that. Unless you're like me, who don't even pick up on that shit. And you're just like, yo.
But we don't have, like, we just don't have an ability to express that way, and that's where it comes down. So I'm like in closing, I completely agree with you. It's a two-sided argument. You're gonna have to be able to match up to your girl, and your girl's gonna have to match up to you. So make sure you do, men. Just make sure you do the shit that's necessary. Make sure you take out that extra garbage before you leave the house.
Oh,
do all the extra small shit that's necessary.
Just little things.
But girls, please. You already told him 56 times. He didn't need to hear it 80. Like, say it twice.
So if you say it 56 times and he didn't do it the 56 times, but he did, he did it 50 times.
No, you don't seem to realize. You said it twice, we banked it. The other 53 times is just us waiting on you to come and talk. We've heard it. We know. We don't care.
Did you not understand what he said the whole fucking podcast? Is that we shouldn't be fucking stressing him? What the fuck is Angie talking about? You know what? I gotta pee again.
No, you didn't. You missed.
Bye, and
you just missed it. That's what I'm saying. You just missed the part about
what
I said to you. You told us twice already. In between that time, if we didn't do it, it's because something came up. I'm not trying to have you bitch at me 50 other times. You just didn't have the patience to wait until it was executed. So you asked 58 other times. I'm not talking about before I left the house. Like, if I left the house, bitch 50 times. But if I'm inside the crib still, and I haven't even left the motherfucker yet, and you've asked me 58 times, now you're just causing yourself a problem.
Why is the fucking garbage still there?
It's like now you're just causing yourself problems.
Why is it still there after 53 times and you're in the house?
Because I'm waiting till I'm walking out the place.
Fuck you.
See, this is the difference between man logic and simple. Sassy and savage. Tune in next time.